Got Quinn back in the saddle. I love to have her here. One of my administrative team. She's the only one I ever had in my program. I think this is still true. They went to 3 different colleges and got her degree. And got her. I love to have her sorry, here. Hold on. And she got her degree. It's how you finish the game. I really her talk about persistence. She's got it. Boy, I tell you that. So Quinn, we appreciate you being here today. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this. Let me change my view. Okay, get that out of there. Get this in there. Put this up from the beginning. All right, here we go. I wonder why. Hold on. Stand by. Okay, I did it right. I did it right for once in my life. Share the screen. Okay, here it is. Okay, there we go. Oops. People are still showing up. Good. All right, we're going to do this is going to be a session that's kind of part 1 of 2. We'll continue next weekend. I usually don't do sessions 2 weeks in a row. This time I have to because I don't want to have too much in one session. But I'm going to talk about the college application financial aid process. This is our 12th meeting. And I want to talk about our top colleges for a minute. I got several questions about that because I mentioned it in a podcast. Everybody asked me about it. But I'll go ahead and cover it here now. In fact, I think a friend that Rex and I know and love asked me the other day about it. And I'll talk about what it takes to be one of our top colleges first. And I'm going to be extremely frank and to the point. And by the way, this view graph is about a year and a half old. And I realize how timely it is right now because I'm getting a lot of calls from students that I have on campuses right now that are just in turmoil and they're fearful. I hope you read the news and that you're not surprised that on many of our campuses, our Black Christian students feel a little bit fearful and have been threatened by Muslim students because they're Jewish adjacent. And remember, it's time to hate Israel right now. So pray for our students. It's a tough time. One's coming home who had an Ethiopian roommate. I should call the school out. If y'all bug me enough, I'll call it out. I'm trying to get that school a chance to respond first. They're coming home. So unfortunately, parents, there's a secondary thing you have to consider that I'm going to cover a tiny bit here when I tell my top schools and a little bit more next week. I can't not cover it. It is a factor in your decision, how extreme your campuses could be. It is a factor. I was debating whether to tell you that, but then some things began to happen. Y'all saw my videos on YouTube, and I have some great concerns, but I think you know where I'm at. It's not just as a Christian man, it's as a father. I'm concerned when students go away and are afraid. All right, what does it take to be a top college? Affordability. The college needs to allow the student with reasonably high grades to attend and live on the campus for no more than $18,000. Students with 3.8 to 4.0 GPAs and a family income of, let me close this, it's in the way, hold on. A family income up to $120,000 paid very little or lower. Those are kind of my standards for determining if a school could be a top. Now, if they don't have this, they could still be, but it's going to be harder. I put a lot of weight on affordability. This is why you won't see certain schools you might expect in my top list. Please keep remembering back to this list when seeing the schools I have on my list. It's more than 10. I used to say 10. It's quite a bit more than 10. Admissible students can attend with normally high grades given the classification of the school. So like if it's a CSU, I'm sorry, if it's a private college, then 3.7, all right, they can get in, that's normally high. 3.6, normally high. Now there's some schools you got to be over 4.0 to have a chance. And that's another whole story. West A EEP connectivity and influence. with the upper leadership of the school. So obviously that will put a lot of schools out. But we have a lot of connection with schools. We really do. And we've been very blessed that way. And we are able to help in ways after students are in schools too. And we are listened to by schools. They do listen to what we say. They don't do what we say, but they do listen. And I think that's very important. This is just our top list. Now, remember, our top, it's just like me. If I told you all, I'm going to tell you my top 30 movies, some of the movies on my list, you're going to think, what? He put that on and not this and that on? You might be surprised. But again, it's ones that we know of and have personal experience with. Now, do I help students go to a lot of other schools? Of course I do. A lot of you know that already. But these are ones that are particular favorites. Or if you would come into a meeting of mine, right, with me, a college readiness meeting, you might find one of these schools suggested. There's a high level of graduate student success over time. Several of our current alumni students are successful. That's obviously something that's going to get my attention with the school. What does it take to be a top college? Let's get some more here. Other important characteristics. These are rated lower, but are important to me. The level of wokeism and far left progressives. Now, most colleges are liberal, come on. But I'm talking about far left crazy stuff. Like when American Youth said last year that if you didn't get a gender number, you would be put on a list and be, subject, have to come in front of the Senate, the student Senate, and explain why you didn't want a gender number. That's way too far, right? Far-right conservatism concerns me too, right? But you see more of the far-left progressivism. Now, actually, we'll get to that later. No anti-Christian actions. So if a school is taking a lot of anti-Christian actions, it could just be the student Senate. It could be a bunch of professors who are taking action against students and groups. Believe me, I had this U-graph over a year ago, and it's very relevant now. A lot of my students are feeling that. No imposition of gender numbers and imposition of things that students religiously don't agree with. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see them doing it to Muslim students. I think I saw a conservative school trying to make Muslim students do stuff. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like any kind of thing where people can't believe the way they want. I don't like people being canceled. And it seems to make my students very nervous and afraid. They don't feel, quote, safe. No forced curriculum CRT on students. No, like in the class being told they have to say certain things and do certain things because of the color of their skin. I don't dig all that. Free speech. I think free speech is important. There should be free speech on the college campus. Just remember, students who are here today, if you hear something you don't like, then you get to speak something they don't like. That's called free speech, not an insulting way, but if you don't like something you hear, the solution is more speech. So we don't like campuses that discourage free speech. We don't think that's appropriate. Christian groups sometimes we think they should be allowed to select only Christian leaders. Look, if you had a bowling club, the leader better know how to bowl, right? If you have a hockey club, the leader better know how to hockey. See, I don't know about hockey, right? But if you have a Muslim group, they should be able to say we can only have Muslims running our group. If you have a Christian group, you shouldn't have a law or rule like we had in California, where they had to throw it open to all different religions. And that a lot of us protested that, and they finally changed that. Okay? Let me continue on here. I'm letting people in too at the same time. Let's see here. Low political bias of instructors. I don't like political bias of instructors. It tends to intimidate students also. I have a YouTube here you can click on if you get the document. And by the way, Quinn will make sure those documents are in the chat. This presentation, as well as some backup material I provided that I'll talk about later, are available to you. If you click it, open it up now on your computer, you can store it on your computer. Or as always, you can email me and I'll link you with it as well, okay? Just get a hold of us if you want a copy of this presentation. And you'll be able to get this video too in a couple of days. But I like low political bias of instructors. I like students able to speak in the class. I did a video on that about this has been a big issue lately. I like better than average career results from alums. Better than average career results from alums. If I see a school where almost all my students who go there do well in life, you remember me, I think it's the student and the upbringing and the parents, but I also have to acknowledge if a school does a great job getting students to think about what their career should be, okay? And that usually does not include research schools, right? Research schools are tending to get you ready for that first master's degree, right? It's going to be the master's degree and it's going to be extending your studies. But we like schools that come out and get a job and get out from under y'all's houses and get off the dole, get off the payroll from the house. What do you think? All right, okay. Let's go into our favorite CSUs and UCs now. I smashed them all together on one list, but you'll get the point. I like Cal State Los Angeles. The parenthesis tells the number of students on our program that are at the school, because I use these view graphs for something else. Sacramento State. We love Sacramento State for its kind of very different sorts of programs that they have there, right? They have programs where you can exchange to DC and do internships, exchange to other colleges much easier in the DC area. Say you don't get into a DC school that you want to be into. They're also very good with careers related to government. They're excellent. So I like Sacramento State. I like the things happening on their campus. CSU Long Beach, one of the top public universities in the nation. They're usually in the top 40, on the West Coast in the top 15 always. That's, of course, the thing is they're here in town, so we don't think, we take them for granted, but they're a very excellent institution. Sonoma State University is up in the East Bay area, north part of the East Bay, north of Oakland, California, and north by east of San Francisco. Sonoma State, we have 13 of our students there. They're one of our top schools for number of students. Students come out there and tend to really have great careers. They have a very small but committed, working together to support each other, group of about 400 or 500 Black American students that take care of each other. And I love that when I go visit there. They have some great administrators that take care of my students there as well. We'll be traveling there. I'm actually going to have to change that travel date, Sister Joyner. I'm going to actually have to change it to January by request of the school, and we're just not quite where we need to be to make that trip either. So I'll be letting you know about it, probably late January, but we're going to publish that real soon. But Sonoma State, a number of you may have students who applied there, and they've already sent their acceptance letters. CSU Dominguez Hills, they're great for professions and careers, just straight up professions and careers. They do a good job lately at that. I added them in here for that reason. My students have come out with a sure aim and purpose in their professional lives. And I like what they're doing with nursing, working in the Confederation with Charles Drew and Compton College to get more students to become nurses. And they're working very close together, those three. So I really like that. Also, their health sciences. They put a lot into that over at Dominguez. UC Davis is our favorite UC because they're the #1 UC for careers. The rest of the UCs tend to be very research oriented. Now I put UCLA because it's here in LA, and it's a great school to go to if you want to go there. It's a really prestigious school. But you come home to have some fried chicken with your family because you're right here in town. Just don't bring your dirty clothes home if you're in the dorm. All right. So those are my favorite CSUs. They have other CSUs and UCs that are perfectly acceptable. And I'm going to help you to get where you need to go. Our favorite private college. Remember, these are our favorite schools. Okay. Grand Canyon, Lehigh University, Carnegie Mellon. I put them on the same line because they're very similar in how they approach affordability. They're both in Pennsylvania. George Washington University in DC, Howard University in DC, Seattle Pacific University, University of Laverne, Loyola Marymount University with an asterisk. Okay, their best situation is under 55, but you can apply, see what happens. It might work out well for you, even in that 55 to 100 range, because I don't know your situation with savings and budget, etc. But I do include them here. They're a favorite school of mine. I like the things that are happening on that campus and how they prepare students for their careers. I should have had a parenthesis there, and the number is 7. I neglected the parenthesis. We have 7 students from our program that are on that campus. How about our favorite public universities? Boise State, no surprise. Northern Arizona, University of Nevada, Reno, University of Colorado, Boulder. And I say to people looking at this video, maybe across the country, including here in California, by the way, most public universities in your state are going to be schools that definitely should be considered just for affordability and career alone. State schools are way better for that, and it's not going to ruin anybody's career sending a student to, as far as your career, your retirement, I should say, if you want to hold down the cost for college. Remember, students, you get the school you earn and want, not just the school you want, meaning the school you can earn merit awards and earn scholarships that can make the school affordable, okay? Our favorite predominantly Black colleges. See, I don't say HBCU because what is an HBCU is an interesting question. It's actually private schools and not public schools. So I'm just going to say predominantly Black. And notice I can't say all Black because it turns out that there are all ethnicities in certain traditionally Black colleges that are state schools. Howard University, very high GPA needed for affordability, however. Tuskegee University, we like Tuskegee. Tuskegee, however, is not in an urban area, but it's a great school. Norfolk State University, Virginia State University, Alabama A&M, especially in the music and the arts. Hey, I was really proud of them. They were actually the lead band in the Macy's Day Parade. You might have seen them on there. Hey, you should Google their YouTube and look at it. It's a very entertaining and very excellent leadership of the parade that they did. You might want to look at that. Southern A&M, Baton Rouge, Prairie View, outside of Houston, Delaware State University, Paul Quinn College, which you may never have heard of. It's a private Black college in Dallas, Texas. Has very great affordability programs and very great partnerships with NASA and with SpaceX and with several other major companies like Intel. They've invested a lot in working with Paul Quinn. So you might, that's a good Black college that many people don't hear about. Now, of course, right here in LA, Charles Drew University, who we have a partnership with. I mentioned that before. That's a great alternative private college, very affordable. If you want to go in the health sciences of any kind, it's an excellent science and health academy. Okay. FOSTA facts to consider. If you have any questions, put them in the chat and or just speak up on the mic. We have a small enough group. I'll be glad to stop and answer questions, especially in this FOSTA section, but on anything previously as well. Quinn, watch the chat. Go ahead.
Could you go back to the last one? Because I was
Sure, go right ahead.
So I can
You might be shocked what's not there, but I'll take questions.
Thank you.
Who is this?
Chanel.
Oh, good. It's good to see you again.
I just need to get a shot of it. That's all.
That's cool. You can get a copy of it as well. Look in the chat. You can steal it out of there.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There's a link to it in the chat too. Okay.
Oh, thanks.
And then remember, you guys be able to email me if you can't get it that way. I'll send it to you. Whatever I have to do. In fact, if you just say you want it by email, we'll get it to you. I think somebody you might know might have just came in here, John Blackwell. All right. Other facts to consider. Here we go. FOSTA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. That's what it stands for. Not FOSTA. 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 The FOSTA for the 24-25 academic college year is based on the 2022, and that's not a typo. Some people think the financial aid for fall 24 is based on this year. It is not based on this year. It's based on what happened last year. So what happened last year is, listen closely, is going to determine what your financial aid is for 24. So there'll always be 1 year behind. The sophomore year will be 23. Does everybody understand that? That's a A little confusing for some people who hear it for the first time. All right. Remember, you can ask me anything you need to here. I have programmed plenty of time to do these few view graphs I have. I usually get a lot of questions in this meeting. It's fine. The first date for filing the 2024-25 FAFSA is, here it comes, December, I don't know. It's December, I don't know. I don't know what day, because the federal government, I got to say, it's your federal government when they're doing something crazy. Our federal government has not told us yet when they're going to drop the FAFSA, which is why I picked today to tell you about that the week before it. Now, we're preparing for it anyway. We already have our FAFSA data sheets ready. We filed last year 103 FAFSAs. We're prepared to file FAFSAs again this year for a small donation. We are a FAFSA-approved provider. Don't go to commercial places and pay $500 and $600. The federal government has a whole code for preparers, and we're within all those requirements of that code. In fact, on the FAFSA, they ask who the preparer is. The first date for the filing the 2024 FAFSA is not known, but all we know is it's in December. Will it be the 1st? Will it be the 31st? I don't know. If I were you, I'd start preparing for the 1st. Now, this is the date. Listen close. This is dangerous. I have noticed that most people's houses don't want to hear nothing about a FAFSA until after Christmas and then after the New Year, and they pivot to it in January. That is dangerous because a lot of schools have not changed their December 15th deadline or their January 15th deadline. I'm going to tell you, things are going to go real fast from December 1st through January 31st. It's going to go fast. It's going to fly by because in the holidays, that's what happens. I fully advise you to listen closely in this meeting and ask yourself the question. Here it comes. Am I filing the FAFSA or do I need help and need Deacon Wilson and them to file my FAFSA? You really need to think. If you're going to file it, I'm going to give you enough here to start on the work. If you've done one before, you're probably okay. All right, but I'm going to give you all the facts to help you decide on that. But the first date for filing is sometime in December. They have not dropped it in the site yet. Some people think they know it's December 1st. I like to know how they know because the government has not said what day yet. The rumor is they're having technical trouble with the FAFSA, the new software. It's a totally new form, and the rumor is they're having trouble with it. That bothers me because the last time we changed FAFSAs, it was a major issue, and last time the government tried to do a major software package was Obamacare, and you saw what happened with that. So I'm a little concerned about this, okay? I'm watching it very closely. What can you do? I'm going to show you what you can do shortly to get ready. I've been mentioned at the last few meetings. Hope some of you have done these things. We recommend that all FAFSAs, I like to see them all filed January 1st to 15th. But boy, if it drops December 1st, I'm going to try to get as many filed before Christmas. I'm going to be working, if I have to, early Christmas Eve. I'm going to get as many filed as we can early. Now, of course, people will tell you the earlier you file, the more money you get. Now, I'm here to tell you that is 99% not true. There's like 2 schools in the country where that's true at. And I've never had a student apply to either one of them. They all have priority due dates, and most priority due dates are in January or February or March. There are some that are December 15th. They have no word on whether they're going to change those due dates. I think they'll have to change them, but they haven't admitted they're going to change them, all right? So have that in mind. Colleges no longer require a tax return. A lot of you went to school when you had to send your tax return. It's now against the law to do that. If you make less than $55,000, the college will require what they call a federal tax transcript. And it'll be for the year of 2022, a federal tax transcript. I'm going to tell you how to get one in a little bit. Some selected private colleges, okay, also require a financial aid document called the CSS profile. collegiate, so college scholastic service, or whatever it is, profile. It is a College Board document that looks for information that's still above and beyond what they'll ask for in the FAFSA. Just about all selective private colleges are looking for a CS profile. There's other things that it has you to do too, like right here. The CS profile process may require information, usually does, by the way. That may should be usually does. It usually requires information on the divorced or separated parent also. The FAFSA should only require the information on the custodial parent. Now, I put should for a reason, because this FAFSA has some changes in it that we're going to talk about in a minute. Okay, right now it only requires information on the custodial parent. And that would mean the parent from which the most of the financial support, the largest amount of financial support comes for the student. There's a lot of questions that could come out of that later. We'll see. Let me get through. I'll show you where the FAFSA is changing. Now, the FAFSA is not wholly user-friendly. It is highly likely that you'll make a mistake if it's your first time. Usually the mistake is not critical, but sometimes it is. Definitely do not let your youth fill out the FAFSA. I'm going to say that again twice. Do not let your youth fill out the FAFSA. Once again, do not let your student fill out the FAFSA, because it's your money. You have to pay for school. You should fill out the FAFSA. Now, you fill it out for them as them. You're them when you're doing the FAFSA, right? But you should fill it out for them. And then you put in your information when it asks for the parent's information. And while my mind is on it, here's what you'll need to file the FAFSA. The FAFSA username and password for youth and parent. Notice we need it for both the youth and the parent. Why do we need it for the parent? And it has to be the blood parent, the parent, okay? That parent needs to electronically sign the FAFSA. Now, if I'm doing it for you, you'll agree that I can electronically sign it for you, but I'm going to be using your username and password for your youth, their password, and then your username and password for you. Each one of you will have a unique username and password. So you'll need to order that. I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. You'll need your 2022 federal tax return, not because you're sending it to the government, because you're going to be looking at it when you file your FAFSA. Because more than ever before, the FAFSA inputs are depending on the tax return. So if you've not filed your 22 tax return, make that a priority. It will affect your students' financial aid. In fact, you need to get it done very soon so that it's in the system so you could do what's called data retrieval. You're already probably not going to be able to do it in December, but you need to file that tax return and get someone to help you who knows how the FAFSA system works when you can't retrieve the data. Go to www.fafsa.gov is where you file the FAFSA. What else? Mistakes on the FAFSA, get this, are not on the form. When you first file, usually not there. They're usually in the follow-up phase when colleges ask questions and or you think you need to make a change to your FAFSA. And then I've seen huge mistakes occurring this way because they make you nervous the way they say things. And sometimes they say things that are not correct the way they state them. You filed your FAFSA and you get a letter from them saying your FAFSA is incomplete. And you're scared thinking you didn't complete your FAFSA. So you're going through your FAFSA looking to see where you didn't complete it. And you did complete it, but you think you didn't, and you might make a change. See how that happens? What they meant was there's something else more you have to do so they can continue their work on the FAFSA. But to say the FAFSA is incomplete is scary. Please, no youth should file their own FAFSA. That's the third time I said it. As a first-year student, maybe never. Some students should never be near it. Do not have a commercial service or a financial manager. I'm noticing a lot of scams this year. There's a lot of scam financial manager services out there. There was one speaking at an event I was at. I could not believe that they had that person speaking. And it's a scam. I mean, just if you're paying, I think we asked for a donation of $45 to $50. But if you're paying, hundreds of dollars for a FAFSA. Sometimes I saw $2,000 somewhere. That is way out of line. It's way out of line, and I hope that that doesn't happen to you. Other considerations: order your username and password today. I should have said FAFSA username and password today. There is a link to a YouTube video I did on it that takes you through it step by step. You can just paste this right in from the document. Matter of fact, yeah, Quinn's got them up there. Okay. Order your username and password today, though. Just go to my YouTube channel. You can look for it there, too. Remember, youth and parent each need a FAFSA username and password. Please remember that I put it in red for a reason. The important thing is to test your username and password once you get them and make sure they work. It's the one thing that delays FAFSAs the most. You don't have to worry. If I'm filing your FAFSA, of course, I'm going to see if it works first. Take the time to order your username. There, I said it again. So you should really order your FAFSA username and password today. We've been talking about that for a while. I hate to see you want to go ahead and file your FAFSA, and then you find out you can't order the username and password because there's a technicality about the name. Or, by the way, the name you want to use when you're ordering your username and password is the name as it appears on the Social Security card. So you might be known by a different name. Like some people know me in DC. I have a nickname named Buddy. Some people think that's my name, Buddy Wilson. But that's not my name. My name is John Wilson. And that's what's on my Social Security card. Okay? If we're filing a FAFSA, it's 51. But however, we will do all the necessary follow-up with you. We'll follow it all the way through to your financial aid award, help you to read your award, help you to figure out what school's the best buy for you. We have a nice tool we'll send you to help you with it. It will be paid online after you complete our data form. The FAFSAs will be filed in order the payments are received. All right, okay, so let's get more into what I'll need to file it. And by the way, the things I need are things you probably need too. You must have your 2022 federal tax return completed, including any amendments. There's our FAFSA data form. There's a link to it right there. You can go right to that and you can click on it and fill out the form, but I got other ways you can get it too. I will request specific lines of information from your tax return for the FAFSA. That's why you need the tax return. You will need to order a tax transcript. Remember I mentioned that earlier? Notice that doesn't say tax return. Colleges are not allowed to take tax returns anymore because they're getting personal information on you that they aren't required to have. But the transcript has only the information they need. You can call that number, order your transcript. Why you want to do that? Because they might do a verification on your FAFSA, and they're going to ask for a copy of the transcript. So you should have one around just in case. Maybe you order two just so you have two around. The FAFSAs will be filed in January. Now, I'd like to file them in December, but I don't know whether it's going to come out. It could be December 31st. Once upon a time, the FAFSA used to drop on January 1st, way back, about 6-7 years ago. And so this is not terribly foreign to me, but it's a new thing everybody's going to be going through. Upon request, we can send the link to you. If you can't click on that link or you need help, you can just email Quinn Davis at quindavis.eep@gmail.com. She'll be glad to help you. Okay? Any questions? Let's stop there. It's a lot of information I threw at you. Any questions before we talk about the new things that are on the FAFSA? Okay. Now, I only have this new section because there may be people who filed the FAFSA before. If it was only people here who have 12th graders and they never dealt with the FAFSA before, I would not have had this section. But nevertheless, there may be some eye-opening revelations for all of you here, because they were revelatory to me when I first saw them about 6 months ago. And there's two more they added recently and two clarifications they made. I think they're going to be further clarifications, which is another reason I'm concerned about this delay to start, because there may be other changes. But this is the current. This is like as of Thursday, okay? Remember, when we talk about FAFSA-based aid, it's need-based. Academic, artistic, and athletic are merit-based. They're not based on finances. In fact, most schools will give you those awards for merit, whether you file a FAFSA or not. I bet you didn't know that. Some schools will make it all, you still have to do a FAFSA when you get one of those. I've never understood that, but that's the way it is. But we're talking about need-based aid. So need-based aid, yeah. Most schools, especially majority schools, the majority white schools, and majority schools, there's maybe one black school that does this. Certainly will provide need-based institutional aid, but it's based on the FAFSA in that case. So even when they give you need-based aid, the schools give it to you, they're based on the FAFSA. Now, of course, the federal government does need-based aid. We talked about that last meeting. I'll talk about it next week again. The Pell Grant, federal student loans, the parent loan, work study, SEOG grant, all these grants are federal aid, and you're required to have a FAFSA to get those forms of aid. Question I always get is, hey, I make too much money, do I have to file a FAFSA? No, it's the United States of America. You don't have to file, but I hope you don't need any college loans. If you don't need any loans, then you don't have to file a FAFSA, because you need to file a FAFSA to get federal loans. Grades, therefore, are more important than they've ever been right now. Okay, the form is simplified. It's down to only 36 questions from 108. Now, in our data form, we'll have about 24 questions, maybe 25. That's all I really ever needed. So I'm glad they figured out you don't need all those questions. You do not need 108 questions. I don't know why we were doing that. I never have figured that out. Most of the answers are blank anywhere you can get it from somewhere else. The form is more dependent. However, the form is more dependent now on a completed 2022 federal income tax return. That's how they're able to cut all those lines out. So again, you need to have completed your 2022 federal income tax return. And it needs to have been completed by now. You file it quickly, it could be useful for you in late January. In event of divorce or separation, the parent who contributes the most financially to the student is the custodial parent, and their information is the provided information. This is a new thing. It used to be that either parent could be the custodial parent regardless. But this is a new thing now, and I'm not going to give my opinion on these. Separations must be legal to be considered. A college could ask for proof of a legal separation. They could. So it sounds like when I'm advising people for next year, I'm going to advise them to get legal separations if they're separated. Because the school could ask for that. It's possible. They could possibly ask for it. Do I think they will this year? I don't think that they will know to ask this year. Look, we haven't even got the form yet, right? But on the other hand, they may be prepared. I don't know. Otherwise, both incomes will be needed. Okay? Increased aid eligibility for single parents in wards of the state, which are foster youth. There's going to be increased financial aid when there's a single parent involved. I think there's probably an income limit on that. A lot of us do, but I've not seen that in the material yet. There'll be decreased aid for middle class. See, this is the thing. This is why some people stay kind of angry at the government, not angry like to burn it down, but just angry because the middle class gets squeezed. Middle class families above 50,000 and for dependents, see next page, we'll talk about that, are going to have decreased financial aid. It means that's way harder to get Pell Grants. And in California, they're probably going to rethink or drop the middle class grant. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in trouble because they based it on the federal financial aid. Families with 2 or more students in college, yikes, could see less money. Now, you got to read this next bullet. I've been talking to private school financial aid people, and they've been privately answering this for me. It's totally unclear whether private colleges will follow the above items. Love to. This should be a TWO, you guys. It's not clear whether they're going to follow the middle class families getting less aid or families of 2 or more. Remember, they're private colleges. They don't have to follow it. So it's a little bit unclear whether they're going to follow it. I'll be able to tell the minute I see the awards because I know what they did in previous years, right? So if you have another student in college, it's not clear to me that they will follow the new intent of the 2020. Remember, they're private schools. They can do what they please, right? Now, state schools, I think, are going to follow it. It's going to be harder to get a Cal grant, maybe. A little harder to get a federal grant. It's possible. It's very possible, depending on what the state of California does in response. With our budget situation in the state, somebody may decide we have to do something to reduce the amount of Cal grant awards. Who knows? You know, this 175% of the poverty level is now suddenly a key number. That's the number the government has stated is the number which can get full financial aid from certain states like California. It's possible to get full financial aid if you're below 175% of the poverty level. So I produced the poverty guidelines here. Notice with a family of 4, oh, goody, I get to do this. Ah, yes. So notice here with a family of 4, okay, it's 30,000 is the poverty level, okay? 175% of that is 52,500. So that's going to be a key number for a lot of people. But when it's only 2, it's 19,720, it's 34. So below 34,000, state of California, you shouldn't be paying for college if you go to a state school, right? A Cal State or a UC. It's probably higher for UC. I mean, you know, but this is going to become important for you to know where you're at. You know, some of you may be off the chart, so it's not that important, but you're probably going to look down this column right here, I would think. Now, the thing is, the number of dependents, so you're probably only one of these. So it's going to get harder. You see what I mean? It's going to be harder to get financial aid in the need-based aid, you know, Pell Grants and middle-class grants and SEOGs for middle-class students is probably going to be way even more difficult than it's been before. Okay, that's what some people believe. Now, private, I'm just not sure. You know, I'm just not sure about private at all. I don't really know. Seriously, I really don't know what the deal is on that. So, okay. Let's cover, any questions on any of that? What I provided also in the chat, and I'm going to do a video on it tomorrow, is I'm going to take a deep dive. I've analyzed all the changes to the FAFSA for those who have youth in college. I'm going to do a very detailed dive. Hopefully I'll keep it under 12 minutes. And I'll provide a copy in that description block there too, but I also provided it here in the chat. The 12 pages the federal government just produced describing the changes is available online from Direct Department of Education. I got it. And I think Quinn included in the chat. You can put it there again, Quinn, it'd be okay. And I'm going to do a video on it too for those of you who have students already in college. So you can start thinking about that, what effect it will have on your family planning. And some of you need to think about it in terms of the effect when there's a separated parent, et cetera. That might be a consideration. And again, all you need to do is wait. I'll put out that video tomorrow. It may lag till the day after, but I'm hoping it won't. So I've got a script for it already, and I already have the document there. Let's do some UC application considerations. Course is available now. The application can be delivered now through November 30th. And that's it. They will close those servers at midnight, 11:59 on the 30th. That'll be the last time you can deliver. Sometimes when it's jammed, they extend it, but don't depend on it. 98% of the work is on the 4 essays. Start with the essays, I always say. The essays are challenging. The writing is not like in high school English. Now get this, due to the essays' difficulty, I believe it's too late to start a UC application. So in honor of that, I will not be able to review any essays from today to today. I don't want to do a quick review and make you think that it's reviewed. It really needs a good review. Now I already have students I'm working with. Of course, y'all know who y'all are. We're just about done. We're ready to deliver the application. So clearly I'm doing those. but I'm not going to take any new ones. But if you are doing them, start with the writing. Get someone in school to look at them if you can. UC is the worst application to do at the last minute. It really is. My private school's not as bad because you may have delivered a Common App already. You're just touching it up and sending it. But UC definitely is a tough one to do late. The process for getting assistance with CSU, though, typically it's a college readiness conference, but frankly, I think we're too late for a college readiness conference. I just need to hear from you really soon. The college application list, including the CSU list, I'd like to see. I want to see which CSUs you're applying to. I also need to see your transcript. If I get a transcript, your CSU list, I can quickly tell you whether it's the right list given the CSUs. I don't want to belabor the point because we covered it earlier, but it's not automatic admission to every CSU. It just is not. You only have an automatic admission to the CSU that is local to the high school. So you really need somebody with experience to look at your CSU list so you don't apply for a bunch of CSUs you can't get into. Again, I need the transcript, a PDF of the transcript, because now it's already the 26th, and I'm busy with the ones I have now, but I could quickly do one if I have a transcript in the CSU list. You want to complete the CSU data form online. Quinn, could you put the link in the chat by any chance? Could you do that? The CSU data form. Quinn, are you there?
Yes.
That in the chat. So again, we need your CSU preferences. It'll ask you for the last 4 of your social, career, and major. You fill that out, we can file it for you because it is not a user-friendly application. There's no essay, there's no recommendations, but it's also not very user-friendly. So we file it for you and then teach your student how to follow up. That's what we would do at this point. I don't know if the school's providing support for this or not. I have no idea. I get the impression it depends on the school. You need to create a CSU email address. Why? Because they're going to send you a lot of email, and I hate to have it be obscured by your email or you just miss it. Provide the login information on that to us, and we'll help your student do portals. But if you make the first contact with us, we'll follow through and make sure that it's done right. Okay. And then we talk about the first 5 of the social, all that stuff. We'll make sure we'll take you through the process to give us what we need to file it for you. Now, we still have a few community-based CSU fee waivers. I think I got about 6 left. I hate to waste those. If you need help doing your, but the agreement I have with CSU is these are students that I've helped by filing their CSU applications for them because they got tired of students, not completing them correctly, not having the help. Well, we're in the community to do that. We have a great partnership with CSU where they've given us the ability to fee waive students beyond the income requirement. So let us know if we can help you at all. Okay. Now, here we go. The restriction will be you can only do 4 if we do the fee waiver. We can talk about that when you come in. So which CSU is the big question? Well, if your GPA is 3.7 or above, those are the CSUs that are in play for you. Long Beach, San Diego, Poly San Luis Obispo, Fullerton. You say, well, boy, I really wanted to go to Long Beach. Well, there you go. That's the grades it will take unless your high school is in Long Beach. Okay. San Diego State, same way. If your high school's in San Diego, then you don't need to be 3.7 or above. By the way, last year for San Diego State and Poly San Luis Obispo, it was 3.9 or above. It really depends on the pool of students. 2.5 to 3.0, Bakersfield, East Bay, you see them there listed. You can see them all. And 3.1 to 3.6 is all others. Okay? That gives you an idea of what it takes to get in certain CSUs. And one CSU that's missing, I think, frankly, that's close to the top list, but it's the top of the all others, is Northridge. Northridge is getting very difficult to admit from out of the area. 3.6, 3.7. I saw students not admitted who are 3.4. So again, CSUN has its area schools. All the schools west of La Cienega are in Northridge's area. So those schools you can have 2.5 or 2.6 and get into Northridge. Okay, hope that helps. Which UC? Well, I think you know the flagship campuses that are 4 or above. Santa Barbara jumped in that group during the pandemic and stayed in there. So those are the toughest CSUs to get into. UCs to get into. Hey, by the way, a couple of CSUs are harder to get into than UC Berkeley. Did you know that? San Diego State, San Luis Obispo, and Long Beach all were more selective than UC Berkeley. Just want to make sure you know that. It gets pretty hard on those selective CSUs. 3.7 to 4.0 is Davis, Irvine, and Riverside. Davis is our favorite UC because of the career implications. And then 3.4 to 3.6, you'll find Merced and Santa Cruz. Okay. This is based on our data the last 2 years. How about 2-year colleges? Okay. We like El Camino, we like LA City College, and we like Trade Tech College right now. There are probably others too, because I'm focused in Southern California. Shout out to my Bay Area people. Sorry about that. I love y'all too. Rex, I still love you, man. El Camino College, Project Success, great 4-year college agreements. Trade Tech, great parallel career training, good 4-year college agreements, and good for reduced GPA students. They really teach you how to go to college at Trade Tech really well. I like things that are going on there. We have a partnership with them. Great performing arts programs at LA City College, good 4 years. If you're going to do video or production or theater, I like LA City College for that in LA area anyway. Okay. I mean, I also like Cerritos College too, but I like Cerritos College for a lot of things. Great performing arts programs. Also like Long Beach City for some of these as well. Great performing arts programs, good 4-year for UC transfer, good for reduced, also good for reduced GPA students. They seem to do a good job of preparing students to actually go to college. Okay. Alternatives to 4-year college. Save up. Why would you do a 2-year college? It's an alternative to immediate 4-year college. You can save up to 6% in debt and cost. You stay near home for family reasons if you have those. It's quicker and better career starts because you can take career-based training while you're taking your college prep. So now you're learning to do a career at the same time. Develop better learning and studying habits. El Camino Project Success is the best for that, we think. Also, why 2-year to get credits while you're in high school. That's a good way to do it. You all know I like that. And each summer while in college, you come back home, you get a job, you take a class in college. You try to graduate sooner than 4 years. I think I put up a chart. I think I'll put it back up next week. I have a chart that shows you how to finish college in 3 or 3.5 years. You don't have to go to school for 4 years. You can use the 2-year colleges to take classes in the summer. Take your general ed classes. A lot of you will go to college with credits already. I believe that's what Sister Moore did. And there's somebody else in here did that too. I saw somebody else log in. Finish college early for 3 or 3.5 years. Save money. How about certifications? You can get job skills while you're in college. Trade tech classes with West. We still are partnered with them for classes for credit. You email me, I'll get you in touch with Christina Martinez, and she'll help you. I think we had about 30 kids taking their classes, 28 anyway, taking classes for credit over the last 2 sessions. It's exclusive for our students, no longer exclusive. We're in a pool of other nonprofits who are sending our kids there. But you get priority registration access, free classes. Let's talk about some of our costs, our donations we request for support. And by the way, if ever somebody can't afford any of these, guess what? We'll do it for nothing. But we ask for these donations to help offset the cost of our do 2 things for us: offset the cost of our contractors, but also provide a pool of funds for our foster students. This year, it seems that I'm going to have about 4 or 5, and they literally don't have any way of covering a lot of their college preparation costs. I also use it to fund travel for some students too, and make travel a little bit easier. I put it with the donations that we're given as well. The CSU application support is $50. The UC application, essay and application support is $70. FAFSA support, some of you may get it for less than $70 if you're a legacy, if you had a student before the student that's in now. FAFSA support, I told you about that. Common App support, if you do all essay support, it's $90. And the readiness conferences are free. You can do a college readiness conference with us and a follow-up conferences too. They're always free. When I'm giving information, it's free. All of our meetings are free, as you see. All of our videos that you go online, they're all free. We are not any kind of subscription service. When we're giving away information, giving out information, we exist for that reason. We also will do a lot of other things for free, like help with colleges. If you're having trouble communicating with the college or there's an issue, you can get a hold of us. We'll be an advocate for you and go in there and do it. But the College Readiness Conference is free. Application support, if you want to combine things together, you get a reduction in both of those. All right. Told you it'd be a short session. That's all I had today, but I will take questions. If you want to do the questions offline, what's my thing tonight? Tonight, I'll be available for about 8 to 8:30 to take some phone calls, questions that way, or I can take questions now as